Hello, I'm Mimi, and today I thought it would be nice to sit and do a really simple drawing in real time and answer some frequently asked questions and also questions directly from my patrons. I want to say a quick thank you to my patrons for their support. If you'd like to join me over on Patreon for art tutorials, tips and updates, I'll leave the link in my bio. So I have some questions written down that I'll answer as best as I can, and we can have a little chatty draw with me. If you want to draw something of your own while we chat, then grab some art supplies, or I've included the sketch for this drawing below that you can print out at home or pop onto your tablet and colour in, so we can be drawing the same thing. It's like a cute little art date. So question number 1, and by far my most frequently asked question, is what brushes do you use? So I have a brush pack called Carl's Megapack, and it has loads and loads of brushes in it, but I mostly just use one brush from the whole pack, and it's called Natural Feel. I actually bought the brush pack years ago, before I even knew how to draw digitally, and I was just trying to learn some things, and so I bought the brush pack, but it's now been acquired by Adobe, so you can download it from Adobe with an active subscription. I'll link to it in my video description below, but I know that a lot of you use Procreate, so I'd like to make my own set of brushes probably in the next couple of months. The second question I get asked quite a lot is what software do you use and why don't I use Procreate? So I use Adobe Photoshop, and the reason that I don't use Procreate is really simple and not very controversial. I just don't have an iPad. I don't even own a tablet. I have a 2-in-1 laptop where the screen acts like a tablet, but it runs Windows. So I just don't have an iPad to run Procreate on. I would like to get an iPad though. I think it would be nice to try out Procreate and be able to compare it to Photoshop, and then I can also make tutorials and brushes and things for Procreate, because I know a lot of you do use it because, well, most people have an iPad, it seems, and not a lot of people have Photoshop. Part of the reason I do have Photoshop though is because I have it for graphic design. I do some graphic design work, so I have the Adobe Creative Suite, because I know it's not a cheap program, and I know you can get it just on its own, but it's still quite an expensive digital art investment to make. So I understand why a lot of people prefer to use Procreate or other digital art programs, but that's what I've got, so that's what I use. I was asked on Patreon, how do you stay on top of being active on social media, and how do you balance that with the rest of your life commitments? So on average, I spend about an hour a day on Instagram, more on weekdays and less on weekends, which I know is quite a lot of time to be spending on social media. But I decided to make social media a priority in my art journey quite early on, because I knew that was where I was going to have the accountability to stick to drawing regularly, and it's where I get motivated by my community, and it's where I create my portfolio of work for the world and potential clients to see. It's a big commitment, partly because what I like to do on Instagram is engage with my community and encourage other artists, especially small art accounts, so it takes quite a lot of personal engagement from me with other accounts, which I really like to do, but it does take quite a lot of time, and there are times when it's a little bit too much, and I have to remind myself that I do not have to reply to every single comment and message, even though I like to and I try to, because people have taken the time to comment or send me a nice message. I really want to respond to them. It's just a numbers game now that there are quite a lot of messages. I have to try and balance my time a little bit more effectively than I used to. I actually turned off all social media notifications about 6 months ago, and that's really helped a lot with the constant pressure and the attention from Instagram to answer a comment or to go on and engage with people. So now I don't get any notifications on my phone, and it's really changed for the positive my association with Instagram. So now I just go on when I'm ready to engage and not when Instagram wants me to go on and engage with people. I try and set aside about half an hour in the morning to answer comments and messages, and when I post in the evening on days that I am posting, I try to be active for at least the first half an hour in the comment section, replying to comments that other people have left to really promote the engagement on that post. And because I post quite late in the evening, normally about 8 or 9 o'clock my local time, then I'll go to bed and in the morning wake up and do it all over again. And then I'm also trying to engage with other art that's being posted in the community, because there's no point in me just being on Instagram for my own content. I want to see and encourage what other people are making. So I also need to set aside time looking at what other people are creating and commenting and saving and sharing their art, because it's a really important part for me in the community to encourage others and not just be there for myself. So all in all, it does take quite a lot of time and energy to be active on Instagram, especially in a community that's quite big like the art community is on Instagram. But it is something that I like doing, and when it does get a bit too much, I'll just step away, and I try and take weekends mostly away from Instagram, and I don't really engage very much, and I might post a couple of stories if I feel like it, but I try and step away, and that helps me to refresh for the next week. I have to set boundaries to be able to balance social media with the other commitments in my life, because it would be really easy to just be on Instagram all day engaging with people, but I do have other things that I want to do with my day, so I just have to make sure that I make some boundaries and stick to them where I can. The next question is, did you study art at school and university? So I did study at both. I really enjoyed studying art in high school, and I did art classes all the way through to the end of school. So I studied art at school, and then at university, I did a mixed creative degree, and part of it was visual art. So it was a degree where you could pick and choose your majors and minors. So I chose to major in film and TV and minor in visual arts and also graphic design. I ended up not enjoying the film part very much because it wasn't a very practical film degree, but I did enjoy the graphic design and visual art side of things, and that's kind of the direction I ended up going in after university. So after taking some time to travel, I went into graphic design for work because I enjoyed it, and it was much easier to find work as a graphic designer than a visual artist. There's a lot more practical uses for it, and lots of companies need a graphic designer, so that's what I went into professionally. But I still always enjoyed visual art, and I liked doing art as a hobby. I just didn't make time for it really very much at all. I still do a bit of graphic design now, but last year decided that I wanted to pursue my own illustration work, and lockdown was the best opportunity that I was going to have to teach myself digital art, and so here we are. Okay, next question. How did you find your art style? I think we put too much emphasis on having an art style and maintaining it. Having different art styles doesn't mean you're not an artist or you're not very good. It just means you're versatile and your creativity hasn't fallen into a pattern yet. I fell into my current art style by just drawing a lot, and eventually started drawing similar things, using similar palettes and using the same techniques that all kind of wrap up to be my style. The more I practiced and tried out different things, the more I identified some things that I liked and would use those again in the future. Like one day I drew a cat a certain way and I liked it and drew it like that again, and I used a color palette that I liked and I used that again, and another time I might have found a way of drawing texture that I liked and used again. Once you've tried lots of things, you'll probably naturally hone down the parts of your art that you like, and you'll look back on the last few things that you've drawn and realize that that's kind of part of your style now. And it's normal for your style to change and progress over time. If you look back over the last 6 months on my Instagram feed, you'll see my art slowly changing, and I think it'll slowly continue to change as well. That's part of the natural progression of your art journey. So if you don't have a style yet, or you don't think you have a style, don't worry, just keep practicing and it'll come, and it really doesn't matter very much whether you do or you don't. Okay, so the next question that I get asked is, what made you want to start drawing and posting to Instagram? So I always knew that I really enjoyed drawing, but just didn't really make the time to do it, and I wanted to do something about it. I had a dream of being an illustrator, working for myself from wherever I liked, and I realized the only thing stopping me from doing that was me and my inaction. I needed some structure and accountability, so I started posting to my Instagram account in May 2020 and have been drawing every week since then. I honestly can't remember what I did with my spare time before. I guess I watched more TV or something, but now I spend a lot of my week drawing, and I'm so glad that I decided to take action last year, because really the only way to learn to draw is to practice. And already it's given me so many wonderful opportunities that I'm really grateful for. Okay, so now we have how do you come up with drawing ideas? I shared some of my favorite sources of creative inspiration in a recent video, but the main ways I come up with drawing ideas are going for walks and letting my mind wander, thinking of my favorite things and trying to make simple scenes from them, and using prompt lists, either my own or from drawing challenges. I made myself a printable prompt list recently. If you haven't downloaded it for yourself yet, I'll leave the link in the description and feel free to use it yourself. It's free to download, so you don't have to pay, but if you'd like to support me and buy me a cup of coffee, there is the option to pay for it as well, and I'll of course appreciate it. I usually try and have some interaction in my illustrations, so I like to put little characters together, and the characters can be as simple as a bumblebee or a flower with a face, or as developed as a full person. Sometimes my illustrations are as simple as just meshing together things that I like this one. And I try not to put too much pressure on myself to always be drawing new things. I like rabbits and love hearts and flowers, and I know how to draw all of those things because I've drawn them before. So I put them all together, and that's how we got to this idea. Since I've been drawing regularly for so long now, it's made coming up with drawing ideas much easier. It's kind of a habit for my brain to be alert to new inspirations and ideas, so I definitely think it gets easier with time. Something else I get asked quite a lot is, how do you come up with your color palettes? I'll create something in-depth to talk about this because it's quite a big topic, but generally I like to use soft colors like pastels. I use a lot of greens and I often pair them with pinks or oranges, and sometimes I use really light purples and blues as well. I tend to use a lot of muted colors rather than really vibrant saturated colors, and that's just kind of a personal preference of mine. I like to go for more earthy colors where I can. And if I need to use a darker tone, I'll normally use something that is also a little desaturated and not super bright. It's not a very technical explanation, but I'd say that I mostly just use colors that make me feel happy and that I'm drawn to. So I thought it would be fun to finish off this Q&A video with some quick fire basic information about who I am so that you can get to know me just a little bit better. So I am 29 years old and I turned 30 in November. No, I'm not bothered about turning 30. I actually feel like I'm in a really great place in my life. I don't think I would have had the confidence to have a YouTube channel in my early 20s, so I really don't think it's ever too late to start doing something. So I think my 30s are going to be quite good. I currently live in Australia. I recently moved to Tasmania to live more quietly for a little while and be closer to the outdoors. But before that, I was living in Brisbane in Queensland, which is where I went to high school and university. I was born in England and lived there until I was 11 when my parents and my brothers and myself moved to Queensland, Australia. And until last year, I would try and take a trip back to England to visit family and explore my home country every 2 years or so. So the last time I was there was mid-2019. My favourite food is French fries, but I do love potato in all forms. I have been with my boyfriend Dan for 9 years, which is most of my adult life. We met through friends at uni and he's a video editor, so I am super lucky to have his help with all of my video content. I love to travel and explore when the world is safe, and one day want to spend a summer in Italy learning Italian. My guilty pleasure is watching reality TV, which is really bad, but it's so good. So that's enough about me. What are some fun facts about you? Leave me a comment below with your favourite food or where you're from. I'd love to know. Thanks so much for drawing along with me. I'm going to post this illustration to Instagram, and thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time.